Hello Sagittarius, Elsie here with a bonus read. How are you, Sag? I hope you're well. Thank you so much for clicking here. I appreciate you. I am here to do a bonus read. Just want to say thank you for all the ways that you've been loving on me. Thanks for the ways that you loved on me in May. We are doing a bunch of bonus reads today before we get to the weeklies, and this one is for you. And hey, Sag, don't forget the private reads are open. If you're interested in that, please look in the pinned comment. There is a link to Hypsee. You can go look at my packages and pricing, see if that suits your needs. Let's find out what's going on for you, friends. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter, thank you for your thumbs up or your hypes or whatever you're going to do while you're here. I always appreciate all of it. This could end up resonating with you in a past, present, or future sense. Let's find out what's going on. What is your lens? I hope you have your discernment with you. Tell me about Sagittarius. We have the Five of Cups. We have the, did somebody say something that hurt you? Or maybe you're feeling regretful over something that you said that might have come off sharp. Come Sag Rising. I know that sometimes we can stick foot in our mouth, right? Sometimes we can say it and then we can't get the toothpaste back in the tube, right? So sometimes it can be just that. And it wasn't that you weren't supposed to say it, because look, the Queen of Swords never says it because they're trying to hurt somebody. The Queen of Swords says it because it's the truth. But I feel like you might have regrets about something that you said. The Two of Swords is, there's a crossroads here. I really think that, I'm going to say that depending on what lens you're here with, that somebody either hurt you with their words or you hurt someone else with their words. But I feel like there's now sort of a, I'm going to say an imaginary block in place. It doesn't feel like it's a solid block, I'm going to say. It feels like we're at a crossroads. Whatever was said very truthfully. And so I feel as though the truth had to be said, but I feel like somebody might be regretting saying it. Maybe the delivery was a little bit more swordsy, more harsh, surgical. Tell me more. I think you said it in a balanced way. Yeah, somebody took offense. Somebody here is not happy. They took offense. The King of Swords is here. And look, the King of Swords can take it on the chin. The King of Swords understands and appreciates details and facts. Somebody here, I think, disagrees with your details and facts. Ten of Pentacles. It could be a fight over money. It could be an argument over the family. It could be an argument over something here that is long-term. It feels like somebody here has, it feels like the King and the Queen of Swords. I always say when the King and Queen of Swords get together, it's like a sword fight, right? Steel sharpening steel. Now, we have Libra, Gemini, Aquarius energy here, and I know you're Sagittarius, but I'm going to I feel like the Queen and the King is a representation of a really sharp conversation that went down. It could have been over the family, it could have been over family legacy, over kids, having kids, it could be over money, but it feels like somebody here said something, and it feels like the King came out swinging, I'm going to say. So, it feels like this King came out swinging. I think somebody here who, if you're the Queen of Swords, you were just simply stating the truth. And I don't think the truth can be refuted. I think you really brought receipts and stated the truth. But I think that somebody got offended and came out swinging. And now maybe somebody is saying, oh gosh, I shouldn't have said that. It feels like it could be over, time, effort, energy, money. Oh boy. Nine of Swords is here. Now I'm worried. Is this person rejecting me? It feels like you're in a moment of silence here, is what it feels like. So I don't feel like it's a block on social media, but I do feel like we're not talking. That's the kind of block. It feels like a verbal block, right? A mental block, a verbal block. I think that somebody does want to repair it, or at least bring some clarity. I don't think there's a sorry coming up here. Well, maybe there is. We'll look at the cards, but it feels like this, right? It feels like that. You can see that the cups are here. So we've got the 3 cups and 2 of them have poured out. I think somebody made a financial offer to the other person or a long-term offer to the other person. And when that person said no, the other one went off the rails. Because when the King of Swords is in the reverse, that person is really cutting with their words. Really harsh. And, you know, the King of Swords can be really harsh, but doesn't usually do it to hurt a person. The King of Swords is usually, it's Aquarian energy. We're in a general read, so we've got Libra, Gemini, and Aquarius energy here. But it does feel like somebody, no matter what their sign was, they could be Virgo, they could be Scorpio. Somebody got really harsh with their words. Let's find out what the Queen said. Tell me about the Queen of Swords, please. You said it from a place of power if you were the Queen of Swords. We've got the Queen of Pentacles. Oh, interesting. Because look, I feel like you're not worried about how this ends up because you're self-sufficient. You're like, I'm just going to say it. I'm just going to say it the way it is because I don't need to worry about your money. I got my own. I'm good. I don't need to worry about your abundance. I could move out right now and be fine. This could be an argument that took place outside of you. Maybe your parents are arguing. Maybe your friends are arguing. Maybe your best friend and her companion are arguing. But there's something here that's at odds. There's a battle going on. A battle over money. That's what it feels like. Money, time, effort, energy, or health. There is a battle going on here. And then we have the Five of Swords because there's fundamental differences. Look, I could not write it this well. We've got 3 5s. 5, 5, 5. Something here is about to change. So if it is quiet, is silent, excuse me, if there's a lot of silence going on here, I don't think it lasts much longer. But I think if we're talking about money, it's over splitting of assets, or it could be brother and sister talking about who takes ownership of the of mom and dad's house. It feels like it's a significant amount of abundance. And like I said, that doesn't have to be money, but it could be. It could be over the family business. There's a worry here. I think that there is a worry here that I don't know if I ever want to talk to this person again. We are at odds. Somebody threw their swords down and left because when these two get together, they're, when one's in the reverse, we're not on the same page. And that accounts for the Five of Swords because that is, you're never going to convince me that I need to think the way you do. You're never going to convince me. So I think we're at a crossroads here. That's what the Five of Swords is, right? We're at a crossroads where a decision needs to be made, but nobody's making a decision. Let's talk about the Two of Swords. Tell me about Sagittarius. We've got the Four of Swords. So I think that somebody is willing to try and talk about it, heal it. Let's really look at it surgically. Let's take all the emotions out. Let's look at it practically, surgically. Let's make a decision based on the facts and the receipts. I feel like the 4 and the 2 of 6 is telling me, look, I just want to get out of this chaotic place in my mind and move on from there. But I also may need to move on from here. If we can't agree on it, and all we're going to do is battle about it, about the property, the money, the time we spent together. If we're only going to battle about it, and you just keep holding back your thoughts and not telling me what's going on and saying this is mine, somebody here is not able to be vulnerable about anything. It feels like money, or it feels like somebody's not taking accountability. And I think that that's the King of Swords energy. It doesn't matter what their sign is. They're acting like the King of Swords, and that's what energy reading is all about, right? Somebody's acting like the King of Swords, not taking accountability for what they said and did, not taking accountability for hiding money, holding back, holding onto something super tight. The Knight of Pentacles, this is much of the same. This is a long journey. I'm going to say that you're on a journey with someone who is ultimately never taken accountability in the family, with the money. Tell me about the Five of Cups. Somebody, I feel like the thing is I feel like that somebody here is feeling badly for what they said, but they're not ever going to admit it. I think that's the King of Swords. We've got the Six of Pentacles. Look, you said you wanted a conversation. I gave you the conversation. What more do you want from me? That's the energy that I'm getting from this. I'm gonna give you what you give me, and that's it. You're not getting anything more than that. Got the Five of Cups. The Page of Wands and Magician. Ooh, Tower is on deck. All right. So I think that if this thing cannot be resolved, I feel like the Tower gets involved. I feel like we are dealing with two very strong personalities. that cannot come together on a decision-making process. This is giving me this, the King of Swords is like, look, I'm only giving you as much as you're giving me. I'm not giving you a cent more. I'm not giving you any more time, effort, energy, or money. And this is like, I'm good. I'm happy. I'm good. I don't need you. Like, it feels like this king is really drawing a line in the sand and saying, look, if you don't agree with me, that's fine. I don't care. I'm giving you what you're giving me. I have not a care in the world. I'm here in my wish fulfillment. But then we have the unpredictability of the Page of Wands. I really feel like this king is probably quite immature. Nanner boo-boo, like it feels like they're quite immature. Even though they're a grown-up, they're quite immature in the way that they fight, because when I see swords and fire together, it's a sharp tongue. It feels like a sharp tongue. I feel like this king is a manipulator. I don't know who this is for you, but Magician. This person, you know what they do is, I feel like they are somebody who is not usually in their emotional energy, but they use emotions to manipulate, is what it feels like. It feels like a bit of a martyred energy. When somebody is like, well, I gave you a choice and you didn't take it, so this is not on me. It feels like that sort of energy. Somebody will not take accountability. The Tower might show up to help this thing move forward, but let's find out what's going on with this King of Swords. Who is this? Tell me about this King of Swords for Sagittarius. Seven of Swords, Ace of Cups, and the Three of Swords. Look, this person really does love you. Yeah, they're hiding it though. This person is lying about how deeply emotional this whole thing is affecting them. They show up as the King of Swords. They show up as aloof and detached and give a crap what you say. But underneath all of that, the Seven of Swords is concealing something. And they're lying about how deeply it affects them emotionally. And that's probably true for a lot of Aquariuses. They're not, they're not stone cold. They're not always as sharp as steel. They do have deep emotions, but they're just not willing to show them on the surface. So I feel like this person is really worried. So I really do feel that the Five of Cups belongs to the King of Swords, because it's all over here. It feels like this person is unable to show people their emotional vulnerability. They keep everything underneath the surface, and this person feels like, oh, I did it again. I hurt somebody again. And underneath the surface, they are feeling regretful that they said it, or the way they said it. But on the surface, they're like, look, I'm not giving you any more than you give me. I'm fine. Don't worry about me. I'm good. I'm happy. But I feel like something here is quite unpredictable. This person is probably someone who can flip on a dime. You never know what to expect from them. You never know who's getting off the elevator today. This could be your boss. You never know who's getting off the elevator today and what sort of emotional state they're in. Tell you about the Ten of Pentacles. This could be arguing over a raise or a promotion. We have the Page of Swords. Somebody's lying. Page of Swords is in the reverse, and so is the Moon. And then the Ten of Wands is here. So to me, the Page of Swords in the reverse doesn't have all the facts. It feels like there's more things to be revealed here, because the Moon is in the reverse. And the Moon in the reverse to me is the Sun, or it is a revealing of something that was hiding. And I feel like there's more to be revealed here. I'm going to say, try not to end anything. Try not to cut anybody out. I feel like something here is yet to be revealed. And I feel like the reason that the King of Swords, look, I'm not buying the King of Swords a way out of this, but I'm saying that I do really feel like this person is carrying a big, heavy, emotional burden with them. It feels like they do want to reveal it, but it feels like they do keep it hidden. I think that you don't know all the facts when it comes to whatever the Ten of Pentacles represents. And like I said, it could be money, it could be family, it could be family inheritance, it could be property, could be all of the equity that we have in the house. This could be a couple. Tell me about the Nine of Swords. This could be a family argument that you are witnessing from the outside. We have the World card. We have the Six of Wands. Yeah, that's what it is giving me. When I see the Six of Wands, I see this particular one. There's a person here who's obviously fell on hard times at one time in their life, but they're getting the victory even though they ended up in the wheelchair, right? Because it feels like this person is brave. They've come from a really hard place. Again, I'm not buying them a break, but I feel like it's all part of why they act out the way they do. The World card is here. And it feels like somebody here is worrying that they will never have the same type of relationship with you again that they had before because of something that was said. Yeah, it does feel like it could be something that has to do with a relationship, somebody you live with a family. This could be your partner. This could be your husband or wife. It feels like somebody here is really worried that this is never going to come back together again. Tell me what the outcome is here. We've got the Eight of Pentacles. We've got the Nine of Swords. Ooh, someone's over it, man. Because I feel like the Queen of Swords, if that's you, is somebody who has really worked hard on themselves. And I think the person, like at the beginning, remember I said steel sharpens steel? I feel if this is maybe your father or your brother or a member of your family, it feels like this person has been really hard on you your whole life. And you finally have gotten to a place where you are stable. You're a person who's got your own wealth. You're a person who you miss nothing, which a lot of people who've been through a lot of trauma become very acute by sensing what's going on in the room to protect themselves. They call that psychic, right? And so I feel like you are a person who's really worked hard on yourself or worked hard to get yourself in the place of the Queen of Pentacles and the Queen of Swords. And this person usually kept you in control. They usually had control over you, and they now come to the realization, or what's being revealed to them is they no longer have control over you because you have your own money, you have your own mind, you say things that are truthful and honest. I feel like you are a person who says things that are very balanced, and you tend to bring harmony, but you are not ever going to go back on your word. And this person is somebody who I feel has always kept you in check or in line, and they can no longer control you. So the Sun is here. I feel like what's being revealed is you're seeing that the king is slowly breaking down, is burnt out, because they no longer have control over you, and you're holding up your boundary with that sword and saying, nope, I am not letting you out of this place. So they might have told you in your life that purple was actually blue, and you found out that it was actually purple. And now this person is like, say it, it's blue. And you're like, no, it's purple. You don't have control over my mind anymore. We have the King of Wands. So it feels like, I said, to me, swords and wands are a sharp tongue. It feels like this person runs the kingdom. And could be your boss, could be a family member, could be a brother. Somebody whose ego is way out of control. Yeah. Somebody who feels like they own people, they have ownership of people, and you are one of the people that they think that they can control. Have you ever tried to control a Sag? You'd have an easier time riding a dragon. Oh my goodness. So the King of Swords, I think, is exhausted from carrying around. Like, the thing is I feel like this person does have a lot of deep emotion for you, but they just don't want to let you see it on the surface because they feel too vulnerable. They don't want to do it. So I think that, you know what, this maybe the only way out of this is for you to close the door, because the World card is here. I think that somebody here wants to close the chapter, but wants to feel victorious and stable as I close the chapter. I just want you to treat me like my worth. I've worked on myself really long and hard, and I just want you to treat me as though I have worth. I feel like somebody's going to put up a fight, though. Yeah. The King of Wands is not going to give up their kingdom. For sure not. They'd rather set the place on fire and burn it to the ground. I'm going to go for now. Thank you so much for being here and watching. I hope this isn't somebody's situation, but if it is, I would really love to know in the comments. Thank you so much for doing that, and thank you for all your hypes, your thumbs up, all the things that you do, Sag, my fire family. Thank you so much for the support. I'm going to go for now, but I'll be back because I'm always back, and I need to be back with the weeklies. They're coming. Take care. Love you. Bye.